which will be a top 5 preseason on both sides. Can you kind of speak to how that's talk about the strength of your program?
Sure. Yeah, we return a lot. I mean, last year our women. I always said our women were a couple years behind our men, and boy, they caught up in a big way. We finished fourth, just a couple of points, 10 points or so out of third place. There was, we probably weren't going to catch the top 2 teams last year. Claremont and Johns Hopkins were pretty special teams, and we really didn't go anywhere. We bring back most of those athletes, but it's not just about personnel. It becomes an expectation. I mean, something we've seen here in track and field at Wartburg. We've seen it with wrestling. There's an expectation of success, right? So it becomes, a shark's tooth analogy, right? When we lose somebody to graduation, right? Another name comes in, another body comes in, and has the same expectations, and they know that they're needed, and that's kind of where we're at, right? Both those teams. At the same time, I love being an underdog. I think every coach does. Don't rank us second. Don't rank us fifth. Rank us 50th. Keep us out of the rankings and tick us off. We had a meeting today where I was talking to the guys. We're not going to focus on rankings this year. We're not going to get excited about them. We're not going to, we're going to nod our head at them, right? Like we're passing by a farmer on a country road, just nod and keep on going. Paper burns, and we have a lot to do. We have high goals this year, but where those goals end, we'll see. We'll see. On the men's side, Pomona brings just about everybody back. They're trying to three-peat. John Carroll brings most of their team back. MIT brings most of their team back. So we're going to have to beat some really good teams, but we know we can do it, but we're not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're going to start with the John Curt invite, this week, and just keep on training.
Has your team set their season goals yet, or is that more of a topic for your trip?
Yeah, next week. Next week we'll talk about goals. We'll do individual meetings and get some individual goals, and then we'll get those team goals and put them together. I think there's always an expectation. We expect to find ourselves in Michigan, come nationals, and I don't take that for granted. It's not one of those things where it's just we're always going to do it. We have a very hard region, a much harder region now that they've mixed up the regions. But the team that we have right now, we expect to be at nationals. What we do at nationals, that'll be more of a discussion, for next week. We expect to be the top of the conference, but at the same time, we know that we're going to have some good competition out of Loras, this year, and some good individuals from other conference schools, So anyway, those are some of the topics at hand right now.
With losing some of your leadership from last year, how does that transfer over to this season?
Well, you hope that those leaders left a legacy, right? Losing forever is tough. Guy was as consistent as they come, but what you hope is that people watched, right? People saw, how he lived his life day to day and took some notes. We had a lot of seniors on that men's side last year, a lot of guys that we're really going to miss. We got 3 guys, Matt Heinzman, Drew Hoffman, Jay Mixdorf, that are now in the coaching ranks, right? They're GAs, North Central Augie and Baldwin Wallace, so you can tell the kind of impact they gave us because other coaches saw that and brought them into their staff. So I think if anything, we're not going to mourn what we've lost. We're just going to be stronger because of what we had, and then challenge other people to take the torch. On the women's side, we had some good seniors last year, no doubt about it. Karina was just a super strength for us year in and year out, right? But with her graduating mid-semester, it really gave people an opportunity during track season, to develop their own leadership. And we have Riley Mayer. She's a 5th year. She took a gap year, but she's a 5th year, so we still have, right, some senior leadership. But we're an old team. I remember doing this interview years ago where we were talking about how young our women are. We're not that young anymore. We're a predominantly junior, senior heavy team. So on the women's side, I think leadership is going to be very, very strong. On the men's side, I think it's just an opportunity, right, for guys, to take a deep breath and realize there isn't 14, 50 years around anymore, and now it's their turn to lead.
Wartburg lost John Curt on Tuesday. You named your season home opener meet in his honor. What can you tell us about your friendship with him?
John Curt was the founder. I mean, he was the guy that started this whole thing. You know, we talk about tradition and legacy. You know, John Curt is the guy that laid the cornerstone. You know, so without John, who knows what this whole thing looks like? You know, Steve Johnson, you know, posted something the other day about, you know, how he was so blessed to have John in his life. John gave him a shot. You know, and ultimately Steve, you gave Marcus a shot. Marcus gave me a shot. You know, it all sort of works out. Ever since I got to Waverly, you know, 6+ years ago, John has been, you know, nothing but, you know, accommodating and forthright and challenges me, you know, too. I can remember him saying a couple of years ago as we left for nationals, he said, you know, good luck out there. I hope you have a great day, but you know, if you don't win, don't call me. And then he chuckled and he laughed, and it was just having him and Laurel just in the crowd, you know, cheering us on. You know, having John drop by my office, you know, a couple times a year, right? Even as he got older, he still managed to do that. And boy, he leaves a legacy of athletes that he coached that, you know, are really hurting right now and, you know, are celebrating his life. You know, so we'll definitely, you know, be thinking about John and the importance of his program as we race on Saturday, but also, you know, this season.